Hey everybody, GigaWizCrazyCoders.com and Elite.so here. This is supposed to be an update to my original video of how to make a wildcard proxy with Nginx. If you remember, if you've seen the video, originally there were a few problems with it. For example, you couldn't host your regular website on the same domain or the same server as a wildcard proxy. In this case, this is an update and a redo because I figured out a couple other things that are kind of buggy with this. So I'm going to go through the entire thing again. If you don't feel like listening to me ramble, you can continue on, skip past the video, I don't care. Okay, to start off with, what is a wildcard proxy? Well, actually we'll start back a little bit farther. A proxy is very simple. I want to connect to a website, I'm banned, so I edit my host file to point the domain to your server, and your server passes me to the site, bypassing any blocks that my country has. People have been doing this for the Pirate Bay, Heat, Kick-Ass Torrents for quite a while, but there's always been a problem in that you need to have multiple vhosts, quote-unquote, that's what they're called, virtual hosts, for Nginx in order to do this. You need to have one for each site. So if I wanted to go to Kick-Ass Torrents and you didn't have a virtual host for Kick-Ass Torrents, it wouldn't pass through. Well, this kind of solves that. The wildcard proxy takes in any domain name that's passed to it, and then proxy passes it back out, regardless of the domain. Now, in my first video, as I explained, there was the problem that you couldn't have your regular website on that server because you'd be trying to access the website and it's just kind of looping through itself, trying to pass it to itself, and it's just not working. Well, I fixed that. And in the process of making a video of that, I discovered that websites that will try and force you to redirect to www will break it. It'll put that redirect loop back in because you're trying to call non-www. The site you're trying to access is calling back to www, and you're being redirected back to non. And it just keeps trying to do that. So I figured out a fix for that. In the video, I did run into a problem where Heat wasn't loading, but I didn't realize that Heat.com was seized. So Heat does the problem I thought I had is not a problem, but I will say if there is a site like a website that doesn't exist or is not propagated, for example, I don't know, some random domain you can think of off the top of your head that doesn't actually go to a website, then Nginx is going to come up with a 502 bad gateway. I think it's 502, could be 503. It's bad gateway anyway. So that is a bit of a problem. I haven't really found any workarounds for that yet, but I am working on it. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. I'm going to go through the same thing I went through with version 1 so that nobody has to go back and watch the video. But it's a little bit more advanced, and at the end, I think it'll come out with a result that you're looking for. So I've already got my terminal session open to my server. I'm in my Nginx configuration directory. As you can see, there's my configuration file that I was working on last time. I'm actually going to remove that. Yes, and I'm going to remake it. So now that we have our new.conf open here, let me open this up full screen. First, you're going to start out by opening your server block, tabbing in, and then you're going to put server _ name, and you're going to hold shift and you're going to press the tilde key. It makes a little squiggly line, and then a caret, which is shift and 6 on a US keyboard. Then you're going to open your parentheses and put www /dot, then a closing parenthesis, then a question mark, then in parentheses you're going to put question mark less than domain greater than, and then you're going to put a dot and a plus, and then you're going to close your parenthesis, add a $sign and a semicolon. That's our server name. That basically says to Nginx that any website coming in is going to get to this server, period. End of story. So now we're going to open up our location block. So location / opening and closing curly brace. You don't have to tab in necessarily. I'm just doing it so it looks a little bit cleaner. And inside your location block, you're going to set a variable. You're going to go set $is home domain to 0. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put an if statement in here. This is where our config file is going to parse the incoming domain to make sure that the domain is not actually on this server. So you're going to put if, and then open your parenthesis, you put $host, that's the incoming request, that's the website I'm trying to visit. And then you're going to put another tilde and a star, and then you're going to put your website name. This is mine in this case is going to be elite.so. I'm going to use that for testing. Then you're going to close your parentheses. You're going to open and close your, not including the P, you're going to open and close your curly braces. And you're gonna actually do another variable set, but we're changing it this time. We're going to go set $is home domain to 1. And you get a semicolon after that. So basically what we're saying is if the incoming request has the words elite.so in it, then we're assuming that it's the site on the server, and we're not sending it out. We're changing the is home domain variable to 1. And I'll go over this code after we're done writing it. I'm going to do 2 different if statements so that you guys can see that it works for multiple hosts. So we're going to go if $host, oops, I have caps lock on, $host, tilde key star, theelitepatch.com, set $is home domain to 1. Okay. Alright. So our first two if statements are done. That is the section where you're going to put any and all domains on your server. Be nice if I could type today, right? Alright, so do not edit below this line. Alright, so now we're going to add another if statement, and this one is the parsing. So we're going to go if $is home domain is equal to 1. So basically we're saying if we set the home domain to 1 above, you know, it's actually a site on this server, then we're going to set the root to $home/$domain. Now what that does is, if the site is on this server, then instead of proxy passing it out, we're going to grab the index.html or index.php from the home directory / the domain name. So if I was trying to access elite.so, we try to get files from /home/elite.so. If you're on cPanel, that'll be a little bit different. Requires some heavy modification. Requires that in the first place to get Nginx working on cPanel if you don't use Nginx CP or Nginx admin, whatever it's called. But in most cases, it's the domain name is the username minus a dot. So you just kind of play around with that. That's really up to you how you want to work with that. But I'm working on a basic Nginx install on CentOS 6. No frills, no thrills. Alright, so now that we're back at our code, we got a little bit off topic. We're going to set a resolver. We set a resolver because if we don't, sometimes the domains won't proxy pass when it's a wildcard. So we're just going to use Google's resolver because they're boss. And then we're going to go into our last if statement, and this is the actual statement where we're going to check and see if we should pass it or not. We're going to go if $is home domain is equal to 0, and this is where we do our proxy pass. So we're going to go set $target. Actually, we don't need to do that. Sorry. Yes, we do. Wow. My code is going everywhere. Okay, so set $target. We're setting a new variable, and we're gonna put $scheme : Now that's gonna put in your HTTP or HTTPS depending on what you're looking for, and then we're gonna put in $host. So that will actually put in the www if the user is requesting it. So if I put in www.elite.so, then it's going to proxy pass me to www.elite.so rather than just elite.so. Once we've set our target, we're going to stop pressing caps lock. We're going to come over here and we're going to go proxy underscore pass $target semicolon. Control X, Y, enter. Let's recheck that. All right. So this is all the code to it, literally. We're going to start out. We got our opening server block. We define our server name to be a wildcard. Once we defined our server name, we're defining all locations /. In that block, we're setting a variable called isHomeDomain, which is going to be used to tell if the domain is on this server or if it's something that's going to be proxy. After that, we put in our if statements for each site that we want on this server. So if I had a third site, I would add another if statement block here with the host of the new site. I'm not going to do that because I've only got 2 to test for right now. So after that, we're doing an if statement to see if we've determined that the domain actually belongs on this server or if it should be proxy passed. And if it is on this server, then we set the root directory to the domain's directory in /home. So if it was elite.so, it would be /home/elite.so. If it was elitepatch.com, it would be /home/elitepatch.com. Then we set a resolver so that we can proxy pass things properly. And you can't do that in an if statement because it errors out. I'm not 100% sure why, but it works. Doesn't hurt anything. We're going to leave it there. Then we check one last time if this site belongs on this server. If we determine that it does not belong on this server, then we set our variable called target to the same as the incoming domain, and then we proxy pass out to that domain. If you're wondering, any actual code buffs, if you're wondering why I didn't do if else or if else if, that's because Nginx doesn't support else. It only supports if in the config. So it's I got to kind of work around the if statements. That's literally it. So now we're going to Control X out of here, save your changes. You're going to restart Nginx. Alright, so Nginx is ready and waiting. I'm going to wiggle my mouse here. I'm going to open up a new window and I'm going to edit my host files. Sudo nano / etc/ hosts. Brain fart. I'm on a Mac. This command would work the same for Linux. If you're trying to edit the host file on Windows, then it's going to be in C:\Windows /system32 /drivers etc. /hosts. That's the host file on Windows. So we're going to go 192.168.1.108. That's the IP address of the server I have with Nginx running on it. We're going to add our site. So we're going to go elite.so. You got to do the www as well. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because it's going to be a lot easier. So we're going to add a torrent site to proxy pass to. We use Mininova because I know they use the www force redirect. And we use heat because I know heat was giving me a hassle. If you are trying to set up a heat proxy on your computer, like if you're trying to proxy heat, it's no longer heat.com, it's now heat.to. And of course, we can't forget the all-famous Pirate Bay. The piratebay.sx. Okay, so we've saved our file. We can minimize terminal. We don't need that anymore. We come over here to our web browser. I'm using Firefox just to show you guys because we have this guy right here, FlagFox, showing us where the server is located by IP address. So if I go to elite.so, look at that. It even says, note FlagFox to determine the web server is in Class C private address range. And if you highlight over it, IP address 192.168.1.108. Now this is one of those sites that's quote-unquote supposed to be hosted on the server. Now if we go to one like heat.to, passes us right through. Now if you look here again, heat.to, 192.168.1.108. And the last one we're going to do is Mininova because they force www redirection, which was a problem in the first version of this because it would try and end up causing a loop. So just to show you, mininova.org, proxy pass right through. If we highlight it, www.mininova.org, 192.168.1.108. That is literally it. If I pull this guy back up, this is the entire config. There are some issues with it, like I'll even show you the one I had with Heat. That's okay, I put in heat.com in there anyway. So if I actually try to go to heat.com without saving that, it comes up with 502 bad gateway. I thought that was me that was doing that. It's actually because the domain does not exist, and I'll show you that using Safari. Maybe. But heat.com, it comes up with the default, sorry, the website cannot be found. And it causes a 502 bad gateway in Nginx, which you're seeing on Firefox, because Firefox is a cache, and I don't know why it wants to cache this shit, but you're seeing heat.com come up with a 502 bad gateway. That's going to happen. I have not figured out a fix for that yet. When I do, I will probably update this video and the post that this video goes into. But that's the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you find any errors, let me know. If this video is in a post, leave a comment in the description. A post by me, leave the comment in the post. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment in the description. Send me a message on YouTube. Send me a private message at crazycoders.com/ let's find out exactly what the URL is. Your profile. crazycoders.com/ get out of here. crazycoders.com/members/gigawiz.15/. So send me a private message there. Leave me a comment on my profile there. Just if you find a bug, figure out a way to let me know that I can try and work with it. I'll try and fix it, see what I can do with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Visit crazycoders.com, visit elite.so, and have fun with your new proxy.